What's going on, y'all? And welcome to Willpower Wednesdays. I wanted to talk to y'all and bring y'all the 6 pillars of life. So, there are 3 sets, obviously, 2 rules per set, right? And the first rule and the first set is your experience. So everyone in life has experiences, right? Everyone in life forms experiences. Every single second of every single day, you are experiencing something. Even when you're sitting here not doing absolutely nothing at all, you're still experiencing something. And that leads us to the second point in the first set, which is perspective. So eventually through life, as you're getting older, your experiences end up forming your perspective. And your perspective in life is what you see and what you see only. Everyone has a different perspective on something. While you might look at something and you might say, this is the way that I see it, because of your experiences through life, someone else might say, okay, well, my experiences have formed my perspective on this thing, and this is how I see it. So, like I said, number one is your experiences. Experiences are going to be happening throughout your life from the very moment that you took your first breath to the second you take your last, and your perspective on it, how you perceived it. Going on to the second set, number 3 is your opinion. So after a while, after you have gone through your experiences and you have formed your perspective, now you have formed an opinion on something. So let's just say my opinion is blue is better than red. That's my opinion. So I will tell you, if you ask me, I will say I think blue is better than red. And this could come from the experiences and the perspectives of going out through life. Maybe I've seen water and I like going swimming, and every time I see blue I think of swimming, and that was good to me. And I look up in the sky, and 9 times out of 10 I see blue, so I look up in the sky and I'm like, that's good because blue is good. And I see red, and on the other hand, every time I see red, it's hurt me. So maybe I've seen red, and a stoplight's red, so I don't like at stoplights. Or I turn on my oven and the oven turns what when it gets hot? Red. So I burn myself, and I don't like red. So my opinion now is that I think that blue is good and that red is bad. That's my opinion. So we move on to number 4 in the second set, which is considered a belief. So after a little bit of having an opinion, what it ends up happening is, as time goes by, your opinion turns into what we call a belief. A belief is something like, for example, a religion. And a religion is actually, it can be number 5, but we'll get to that shortly. So a belief is something that is almost set in stone. It goes from, I think that blue is better than red, which an opinion can be swayed if you can provide enough information for me to change my mind. There's a potential. It's just out in the open. But a belief is almost set in stone. It's no longer, I think blue is better than red. It's blue is better than red. I'm pretty sure blue is better than red. When you get to this stage, and like I said with religion, I got sidetracked, that is people's beliefs for the most part, religion, right? So if you're a Christian, you believe Jesus died for you. If you're atheist or agnostic, you believe the complete opposite, right? If you're Buddhist, you believe in Buddhism, things like that. That's your belief, right? And like I said, belief is formed after a little bit. So you get to the point where no matter what you tell me, it's almost a guarantee that I'm not going to change. Barely anything you can tell me, unless there's something radical that you can say or something crazy I've never heard before. That's my belief, and I'm sticking to it. So now we move on to number 5 in the third set, which is a conviction. A conviction, and this is why I say this can be, religion as well, is pretty much set in diamond steel, set in armored fucking steel. You are not going to change that. A conviction is red is better, blue is better than red. At first it was an opinion, blue might be better than red. Blue could be better than red. Then it turned into a belief. Blue's better than red. There's nothing you can tell me. I'm pretty sure it's better than red. But now, at the conviction stage, it is blue is better than red. You could sit me down in front of all the professors you want that graduated maximum cum laude from Harvard and explain to me why red is the superior color, and I would not change my mind. It is set up in here that blue is the superior color, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do about that. So that's a conviction. And then you move on to the sixth and final one in the last set, which is your reality. Everyone has a reality, and your reality forms around your convictions. So you look at your life right now, and your ultimate reality, what you're living in this present moment, is your convictions. It is everything that you would be willing to die over. Your habits and, everything that you do right now is your conviction. Is your reality. And it all stems back to starting at number one. And it all goes in a straight line. So your experiences, which is happening all the time, will form your experiences, right? Will form your perspective on things. Your perspective will then, in turn, form your opinion. After a little bit, that turns into a belief. And after a little bit longer, a conviction. A conviction is something that, takes, probably years in the making to build that initial conviction. And then after your conviction, reality. So those are the 6 steps. But the main thing of this video is the issue with a lot of people and a lot of things that go down in society is that they don't step out of that. They don't even get past, a lot of people won't even get past the perspectives and the experiences part, let alone opinions and beliefs, convictions. Like once they have seen something for themselves, they will not step outside of that. I feel like society as a whole could benefit if people would listen to someone else or listen to other people's perspectives on things, or even their convictions on things, and say, no, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, this is wrong. Maybe, just maybe, even though this has been my experience, my perspectives, my opinions and beliefs, my convictions, or my reality, maybe my reality is wrong. Maybe everything I've known from the moment I was born up until now, maybe this is wrong. Maybe this person's perspective, this person's opinion, this person's belief, maybe they're correct. And I'll just give a random example. So the school system and, the way that we raise our children, right? This is a good example. Maybe you were born in a place that values hard work. Maybe you're watching this video and you're older, you're 50, 60 something years old, and your conviction in your mind is that hard work is the only way to make money. Your family, and it's a conviction, rightfully so, because your generation and your previous generation and even the generation before that, the only thing they knew is hard work. You get up, you go to work, you work 10, 12, 13 hours a day, you go home and you don't complain. That's it. You work for 60, 70 years of your life, and then you retire after the work is done, right? That is your conviction. That's your reality, and you're not going to change it. The problem with this example, y'all, is that then we pass this on to our children. And as we grow as a species and as we change, when there's friction, when the perspectives and beliefs, the convictions and the realities of the older generation does not change with the new generation, as things emerge and things change, because even though your reality, and just for this example's sake, even though your reality is someone who knows how to work hard, that's your reality. The reality is there are other ways. The reality is that isn't the only reality. But you see what happens is that you pass this down to your children. Then your children pass it down to their children, and without even asking questions. So you get to a point where you're sitting there, once again, for the sake of the example, you have to ask yourself, but you don't, because it's your conviction. You have to ask yourself, and was I happy doing that? Do I feel like that was my purpose? Do I feel like my life was well spent or well wasted? And what your children do without even questioning it, because you embedded it in them, is that they do the same thing. And then what ends up happening is this friction, when now you have a reality and a conviction, but everyone else is having different experiences than you. And you're sitting there frustrated, wondering what's going on. And that's just one example right there, y'all, of how stepping outside of your own perspective, outside of your own experiences, and even just thinking, maybe my experiences and maybe my perspective on things. This is just the first. Remember the first category. Maybe my perspective and my experience on things is wrong. Maybe just because I experienced it that way. And this sounds like basic, right? I mean, this sounds basic, like obviously your experience is not the same as someone else's, right? But some people genuinely think like that. They don't want to step outside of it. But something as little as just doing that can change your life in ways that you can't even begin to comprehend. You need to be able to step outside of what you know. Even at the highest level, even at that reality level, at that conviction level, and say, wait a minute, maybe what I'm looking at right now is not the truth. I got a Naruto background. If y'all watch anime, maybe I've been caught in a genjutsu. Maybe this is the infinite Tsukiyomi. Maybe everything that I've known up until this point has been a lie. Or maybe not a lie, but maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe there's a different way to do things. And that's what this video was about. Knowing all 6 of those. So knowing the experience, the perspective, the opinion, the belief, the conviction, the reality. Knowing all of those and acknowledging them. It's okay to acknowledge that you have all of these. It's completely fine and understandable to acknowledge that you have these. But to also know that there could be other ways, and opening up your mind to those other ways so you don't get stuck in your way. Because the reality is, a lot of people are stuck in life where they don't want to be, but they're so stubborn in their own ways that they refuse to look on the outside. They refuse to accept that there can be something different than what they know. And the issue that we have with that, I know I'm rambling on now, but the issue that we have with that is not when you do it to yourself, even though that is detrimental, obviously. The issue is that when you pass it on to other generations. This generation especially, millennials and Gen Z, I know a lot of people like to make fun of millennials and Gen Z, but they're the future. And you're trying to teach old tactics to a newer generation. People like to say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I think it's backwards now. You can't teach a new dog old tricks and expect that dog to comply. And I think that's the biggest problem nowadays, is that, we're seeing a lot of friction. We're seeing, new up and coming people not wanting to work anymore. People aren't wanting to work anymore. People want to work in different ways. The 9-to-5 slave days are over. And even though, once again, you see right there, I just, said what my experience, what my opinion on something is. It's, a slave days. And you get your parents, and you get a whole bunch of collision. You get your parents saying that this is what you need to do. Your family telling you, your friends, this is what you need to do. And then you're like, no, I don't want to do this. I want to do this other thing. I don't want to work. I want to find other ways to make income so I don't have to work. And that's just one example, but there are so many examples. I know I'm rambling on now, y'all, but I just wanted to say these points and talk about these, because these are pretty much the pillars and foundations to life. And the key to success, and the key to, I don't know if my green screen's been messing up in the back, I've been turning my chair, but the keys to success is being able to point out all of these things I've mentioned, the 6 pillars. And even though you're able to point these things out, you're still able to assess certain situations and step outside of those things if need be, and just to radically change your life. I mean, just imagine, even I'm going to use myself as an example. I would be probably working an average 9-to-5 job for the rest of my life if I wouldn't have changed my own perspective. And like I said, the issue is that it does not align with what people want to do. I keep on going back to this example, but you're told, for example's sake, you're told, go to college, get a good job. The only way you're going to make it in life is by becoming successful in a company, right? Working for a company, right? And it does not align with your own experience. It does not align with your own perspective, your own beliefs, your own convictions. But you are hammered so much by someone else's expectation of you that you don't question it. Next thing you know, and you even see it in today's society, you have 24, 25, 26-year-olds crying over debt, over things that they didn't even sign up for themselves. They just listened to whatever advice was given to them by people who they thought were superior than them. And now they're in a predicament that they think they can't even get themselves out of. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I know I've rambled enough, but I just wanted to really bring home that point. You can still have those 6 pillars, but make sure you can step out of it every once in a while, because what you know might not be the answer to the things you're looking for.